Hi, my name is Ray Catull, and you may know me from the such projects as... You may also know me as the host of the internet's favorite harness handicapping show, North American Harness Update, which I host with these two guys, Mike Prebosi and Rod Allums Jr. Every Friday from 9 p.m. Eastern, you can catch us talking harness, handicapping harness, and most importantly, having fun with harness. Can we please get this stuff out of my face? Thank you! North American Harness Update, Fridays from 9 on SRN1. Also download Often Pacing and using promo code NAHU200K, start your stable with an additional 200,000 coins. You can also catch show archives and racing analysis over at our website, NAHUPicks.com! Oh.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Greetings, racing fans. Welcome to another racing-packed racing episode of North American Racing Update, specifically for you racing fans out there. No sport, well, some sports fans allow, because racing is a sport technically, but exclusively race fans only. We have our race fans only feed going right now for all you little buggers and buggerettes out there who call yourselves racing fans. And I'm joined here by two other racing fans, Mike Prebosi, Rod Allums Jr. I myself have a fan with me, but if I lift it up anymore, I am going to destroy my house's electrical grid. How are you guys doing tonight?
Amazing.
Wow, I could simply just... Ooh, I can smell the energy. It has the sense of a young boy on a rotisserie, whatever that means. Whether it's good, bad, probably illegal, we should probably stop talking about it and start talking about things only racing fans care about. That's right, racing. We got lots of racing to talk about. Racing from the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I'm talking to the ground right now. That's right, I'm talking to the groundlings right here. I got Meadowlands in East Rutherford. We got racing from the Downs, not just any Downs, the Downs at Mohegan Sun Pocono. They have stakes action on Saturday, June 30th to go over, including the $500,000 Earl Beal Jr. Memorial, the $500,000 Max C. Hempt Memorial, the $300,000 James Lynch Memorial, and the $500,000 Ben M. Franklin Memorial. All of that and the consolations to talk about this evening, along with towards the very end, or maybe in the middle. It depends how the show is paced or trotted. Get it for you racing fans out there? I know you love stuff like that. We have Running Aces, Casino and Racetrack to talk about too. There's $7,500 guaranteed pick for Sunday, July 1st. They exceeded the guarantee last Sunday, $8,500 in that pool. We're expecting it to be a little bit higher because this sequence, it's heated. And I'm not talking heated like the Northeast right now where temperatures are exceeding 3 digits. No, siree, I'm not talking heated. Like you cut an egg on your car's engine, you don't start the engine at all and it cooks on. I'm not talking about that heat. I'm not talking about the heat where you just take your grandfather's bifocals to the sidewalk and you start burning some ants alive. I'm not talking about that heat. I'm talking about the heat of racing competition, specifically the one that you racing fans love out there. So without further... I'm not as flexible as I thought. However, this show, by the way, is not brought to you by shoes. It is simply way too hot to wear shoes. So tonight, socks only. And I may be more flexible than I thought. What's the male version of the Rockette Boys? Is it just the Rockers? Can I audition for that? I think I threw out my back at this point. Racing fans need... Racing fans don't need to hear about this. They need to hear about racing.
Is this the race show tonight? Are we going to do the race show? Because I can go do something else.
Somebody needs to turn their volume down because they're echoing really bad.
Wow, you know, nothing really brings down the energy in a room like me not talking.
Yeah, the energy is that somebody's got their volume too high and echoing.
Well, I don't know what that could be about. Maybe it could be people that are yelling in their microphones, but I don't do that. I don't yell.
You're the only one that's not actually echoing, so it's you. Ray seems to be the problem tonight.
You see that I'm not... See, this is what they do with revolutionaries. They at first accuse them of malfeasance. And then what happens next? And you know what? They say if you tie a rock to them and they don't float, that means they're a witch. And then before you know it, bam, I'm drowning in the middle of the Mississippi River. And I am therefore missing Sippy. That would be the New York Post headline. They'd probably write something more clever than that. But
Yeah.
Rodney, what I need to know is the Meadowlands has 12 races tonight, all of which I covered over at NAHUPicks.com. That's NAHUPICKS.com for
Boom.
those of you who prefer things spelled out. And Rod, of those 12 races, the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th are the pick 4 sequence we're going to be covering this evening. But what race do they happen to be on right now? Just for my timing, my brain timing. Where are we at?
Race 6 is about to go to the gate right now.
Ooh, they're going to go into the gate. That's something new for harness horses. I suggested they do that at Hawthorne because they have the starting gate there. But then again, like, the carts aren't necessarily slim enough to get into the gate per se. I knew someone named Per Se. He was friends with Thomas the Tank Engine. But what I say usually goes, even though people try for it not to, we should talk about, here's something we should talk about. The Meadowlands pick 4. $50,000 guaranteed pool starts with the 8th. We got a little bit of time to go right into it. And it's a fairly open sequence because we got these 2-year-olds coming back. We saw earlier in the card Green Shoes almost lose a race because he broke at the start, yet he still came back to win as the odds-on favorite. That's just the kind of chaos you get from these juvenile and just inexperienced trotters and pacers. And there's a lot of value to potentially be had in these chaos-filled races. The 8th race, I'm pretty sure, is one of them. And right now, I'm pulling up my program because I don't have it open. Rod, I'm sure you have your program open. You can back me up. This is a 2-year-old race we're talking about to kick off this sequence.
No, it's not.
It's not? What information
It's a 3 and 4-year-old non-winners of 3 or 40,000 lifetime.
Oh, right. This is the Muscle Diamond race, isn't it?
Very good.
No.
It's
Okay,
not,
yeah,
though.
this is the race with you. Okay.
You know the horse is racing, no.
What? You're saying words and I'm not comprehending them, mostly because I can't hear them.
Okay,
Well, open your program and let's go.
the
Well,
8th race
I'm
is a
not-
3 and 4-year-old non-winners of 3 or 40,000 lifetime on the trot. It's a field of 9 with an entry of the 1 and 1A drawing posts 3 and 6.
Ooh, that sounded like most of the class condition. Thank you for that, Rod. Now, if you could also be a doll, I know you got contenders in this race to kick off this pick 4. Who might those contenders be?
I'm going to start with the 4, What a Knockout. Hollywood Hayden actually did a quick interview with Marcus Melander earlier in the card, and Marcus said he thought the horse was in a bit tough, but I think this horse is quick enough. He didn't seem to like Pocono very much. His first start back this year, he trotted in 52 and a piece last quarter and 27 against some pretty good ones. And I thought it was a good race. Coming back to the Meadowlands, I think maybe this horse will come back to that type of mile and really should be a decent price in this race. She's a nice fresh filly, only got 4 starts on the year. I think has a pretty decent shot of winning at a price. The 6, Same Old Different Day. This one, Hambo eligible colt, making his 3rd start back this year. Going from Jimmy Takter driving to Yannick Gingras driving, that right there it makes him a use. I think they're going to kind of test this one out to see where he's at this point tonight, to see if he's ready to go with those types again this season. The next one I use is 7, Signal Hill. This one, Luke Wallen, I like this horse. I think he's got a ton of talent. There's just something that's kind of odd about him, I guess. The price is there for this horse. He's a 4-year-old. They paid a ton of money for this colt as a yearling, and it's the first start for Luke Wallen. So I think maybe if he's got him on the right track, which by his last qualifier, it seems like he's good and he's right. So I'm gonna use him because I'm not going to let a horse like this beat me. I know he's got the talent to do it. The 8, Help Is On the Way, is the other one. He's pretty obvious to have. This is Linda Toscano and Tim Tetrick coming off a win in the second the last 2 starts. Trotted in 54 last quarter, 26 in a piece 2 starts ago right here at the Meadowlands, and that race to me was very good. He should be right there. He's faced similar in the past, and he's competed with decent horses throughout his early career. Only 13 starts. I think he's starting to show that he is going to be a decent stakes colt throughout the year. We'll see how coming back to the Meadowlands does for him. And the outside post obviously is the concern, but last time he was right there with him. So 4, 6, 7, 8.
Mike, looking at your numbers, I see some similarities. You stray a touch, though.
Very similar. I like the 4, 6, and 8. Rod said a lot of the key points. With the 4, this horse started on May 4th back here and raced pretty well at 18-1. Just got beat in neck. I like that line. And then, last time just, broke early, no chance as the favorite. Tossed that race out. This horse gets back to numbers of 3. So he fits. The 6 is extremely obvious. Won $330,000 last year. 3rd start back, gets you on it. Like Rod said, it's go time, I would think, tonight. I don't really use the 7 only because of the bad dates. 6 starts, only 5 last year, 1 this year, albeit a winning one at a huge price. I feel like he might be a little bit overbet. I'll use the 8 off those New York Sire Stakes lines also. He has a decent line to go back to on June the 8th. Came home 26-4. The only other horse I use is Tron's horse, the 3. And this horse has raced 4 straight times in stakes races. His 2 Meadowlands races in April were very good. One April 13th, kicked in 27-1 there, and then second back got stuck with a 9 hole and just got beat by the 1 in this race. But that horse, they sort of gone in different directions. This horse is racing decently in stakes, gets Hopples back on. I like the post. I like anything Tron really puts out. So 3, 4, 6, 8.
I'm in full agreement with you on not over. And let me tell you, this horse is not over. I didn't know where that was going. However, it is positive they're putting the Hopples back on because this horse's gait has been an issue in his last couple of starts, particularly 2 back when he actually made a break. Last out, he just really didn't have enough to keep up with some of those horses like Crystal Fashion, who we'll see later on in the evening when we talk about the Earl Beale. But this horse definitely has the class. He has the ability. He just needs to hopefully mind his manners. I don't really think Samo's different day is going to improve that much with the driver change. This horse has always seemed a touch under. But I mean, for what I know, maybe Gingras can somehow beat out the gem inside of him and be the true miner that he is. I don't know. I don't even know what that metaphor means, but I just don't think, I think he's going to be overbet in this race, and those odds don't really represent best his chances of winning. I do like Signal Hill, though. There's a lot of interesting angles with him that Rod didn't mention. For one, they took the Hopples off, and they took him off Lasix. And not only that, those qualifiers he put in as a result of going off those 2 are better than the miles he put in the winter. Sure, they're going to be a bit better because it's getting warmer and such, but still, that's something that's just really, it just makes me curious about this one. He makes him a curious contender as a result. Maybe he'll be bet because of that. I don't know.
I feel like this is the goal with this horse, though, really. I mean, is this the race they're going for here, trying to win? I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is sort of like an experiment.
A lot of horses can win without trying. Not only that, I don't even know what this horse is staked to, if anything.
I don't know. He's possible. I just feel like he's going to be bet more than I want him to be, I guess.
Well, I don't necessarily know whether he'll be bet or not, but that is an interesting point to make. The 3rd horse I used then in this race is the 8, Help Is On the Way. We touched on this one. He has the class. He has the form. 2 back, lost to a better horse in Dream Baby Dream. The outside post is a concern, but the horse has the ability to race well here. So I'm going to start off this sequence 3, 7, 8. Now we're on to the 2-year-olds. In the 9th race, these are young filly trotters. You got Father Patrick's. You got Trixton's. I think there's a Cow Chips Brood in there. But a lot of really nicely bred fillies going postward. And Mike, for you, you're the deepest of all of us. You're going to take a couple chances.
Yeah, I'm 5 deep just because, this is 2-year-old trotters. So, and obviously good ones. They're, in the sire stakes. So I'm going to try and spread out in this one just because I really don't have much of a feel. I'll start with the one, Devilish Delight. Won a qualifier in 58, and, it was greatly improved from the first one. McCarthy sticks. So I don't mind the way. I like the improvement. I think you can use that one. The 3 Special Honor, likely favorite with, this is, Julian Andy Miller, 2 qualifying victories. One at Gateway was decent. The last one kicked home 27-3. Looked like 2 perfect trips, though. Faced that horse faced the 4 Given in one of those, and that's one of Tactor's. And, that horse came out and ended up second first time from the 8 hole. I like that experience. I feel like that, you can't really replicate, those pari-mutuel races and the experience that they provide. So, this horse has a definite advantage over a lot of the first-time starters. The 6 Golden Tricks, this is Ake. He always has them ready. This horse qualified decent enough, finished up 28-3. So I'll throw that one in. And then the 8, Starita. This is Holloway. Was bet first time out and ended up breaking, late in the mile, but was on the lead and racing okay before that happened. The qualifier on June 9th was very good, kicked home 27-4 and crushed a field. So, the way that this horse, if she behaves, I think that she definitely has a chance, and probably off that line could be a price. So 1, 3, 4, 6, 8.
Rod, you look to have a more decisive opinion on this race. And as a result of that, I'm curious, what are you looking for in these 2-year-olds? And tell us how you found those ones you got.
Well, with the 2-year-olds, you want to see that, first off, they're aggressive in the qualifier, which usually means that they know their horse is better than what they're facing. Doesn't matter if they know any of the other horses or not. When you see that aggressiveness in a qualifier, you know that they have that horse ready. And to me, the 3 Special Honor, the first one I use, this one's coming off 2 very good qualifiers. The one at Gateway I thought was pretty impressive. Even though they were 2 old trips, it doesn't matter to me. Andy was aggressive and finishing well, and then came to the Meadowlands for the second qualifier and was very good as well. So I think you have to have this horse on any ticket. She's a pretty nice filly, very well bred. The 4 Given, I throw this one on. I'm not big on this one, but she does have a start already, so I throw her on. It was an okay start, a little bit quicker mile than I think she wanted to go there, but definitely fits in this race and gets Yannick back in the bike. Yannick should be aggressive again like he was in that qualifier. I think if she has soft fraction, she can hold these things off. And then the 8 Starita, broke in that race, was probably going to win that race if not for the break. This is a nice Trixton filly, and she's obviously got early speed. Her gait is a bit of an issue, but the speed is there, and I think she's very talented. Just needs to hold it together throughout the whole course of the mile. So 3, 4, and 8.
You mentioned that aggression is a key element to look for in these horses, especially in these baby races. I find that in the 1, Devilish Delight. Not only that, but also just the sheer amount of improvement between start 1 and start 2 is too blatant for me to ignore, considering also the fact that she draws inside. There's a lot of advantages she has coming into this race, and a 9-2 could offer a decent price in this sequence. First out, just went to the back of the pack, chased horses, but then in her next start, went out to the lead and wired the field. When you see a filly like that make a complete shift in dynamics, you can't ignore that, because it most likely is a sign that the horse is going to be live coming into the race. I agree that Special Honor is also a contender, but this horse has the times and most of the basic 2-year-old angles of fast final quarters, et cetera, to make her a contender. So there's not much else for me to add to that one. And then I use 4 Given as well, because she has that pari-mutuel start. That definitely does give her an advantage, as Mike said. Making her second start, too, with a better post. She could potentially improve there. Not only that, it seems like she's in a much more evenly matched field. I don't know what caliber of a horse Ma was in that race. Just got to kind of assume that this horse was 12-1. Probably is getting a bit of a drop in class this time around. I'm not a fan of Starita just because those breaks are for 2-year-olds. I stay away from them. Earlier on, there was a pacer that had a break. I did not like that horse one bit. Horse was pulled up. I don't want to take my chances with a 2-year-old breaker. They can get themselves together, but in all honesty, they can beat me. I'm going to be 1-3-4 in this second.
That one was pulled up because she stepped out of a hobble, by the way.
Still, made a break.
No, just stepped out of the hobble. That's not a break. That's an equipment malfunction.
Yeah, but you know what else is an equipment malfunction? When the legs don't keep stride. That's like
no, she actually did keep stride. She just stepped out of the hobble.
My point, Rod, is that the legs are the horse's equipment, and they malfunction when they don't work right.
No. I won this argument.
Deep down, Rod doesn't want to admit that I'm correct.
You
Moving
aren't.
on to the 10th race. It's the third leg of this sequence. Now we're into the race that I thought started this sequence, and it's one of the more competitive races on the night. Now we're of 11,500 their last 5 starts. 10 horses going postward here. We got a lot of stakes contenders here, one including a Hambletonian eligible with You Know You Do, starting from post number 5. Now, you both are fairly deep. Mike, I'm going to start off with you. You're taking 4 in here, and you're mostly not in agreement with Rod one bit.
Well, I want a price in here, and I'm taking some unobvious types. I just think it's a wide open race, so I'll try the 2 Jack Vernon, who gets the big track, off 2 breaks at Yonkers at a very, before the start at an upper level there. This horse has a ton of class, and I think the big track suits him a lot better. And so draws inside here, does get a class drop to my eye, and I'm interested in this one, especially over some of these other ones. The 6 Sortie, this horse is another one with some class, another one that's broken 2 starts in a row. Again, some of these ones need to get it together, but you're going to get a price on them, and they're capable. This horse won $73,000 last year. Again, another one I think the big track suits a little better. Faced Pinkman last time. This is a lesser field as far as I'm concerned. The 7 Muscle Diamond is in here. Has been facing opens, at Harrah's. Prior to that was at upper level conditions. Again, I think a little bit of a class drop. Won 5 out of 17 last year. Has made almost $700,000. And, this horse is a closer typically, but I feel like can get a trip, especially versus a lot of these. And then the 8, Checkmate Time. This horse was in the Armbro Flight at Woodbine. Really no chance in either one of those races. Prior to that, raced well at the Meadowlands. Dropped to the bottom and then won. And then I thought raced okay in that numbers of 15,000. Ended up 3rd to Celebrity Ruth, who was winning a few in a row at that point. So I'll try that one also. Looking for a price. 2, 6, 7, 8.
Mike's going to need some luck with some of those frequent breakers. Rod, however, you only agree with one horse of his, and that's Muscle Diamond.
Yeah, I'm going 4 deep here. I agree with him that it is a wide open race, and you can make a case for several horses here. But I'm going to start with the 3, Shady McCoy. Last week, I gave him no chance in that race. He just kind of sat there. It was kind of a bad spot for him. And, the start prior, he was aggressive. He won the race pretty handily at, 3-1 or something. And it was against a bit cheaper, but that race last week, it was a very tough race. And
unlike this one.
Well, I mean, from his spot, he just didn't. The race didn't look like it was going to favor him, and I think that the inside post tonight is going to help his cause. He should be pretty close, and he's going to be a decent price as well. The 5, You Know You Do, comes off a break. Had a really good qualifier before that break. Yannick stays on the drive. He's Hambo eligible. So I'm not expecting him to go out gunning 100 miles an hour against older horses here. So I think he's probably going to look for a trip, look to stay flat here. And if he gets drug up into the mix with some cover behind Gold Medal Swan, I think he's got a big shot to go by him late. Just trying to stay flat, obviously. The 7 Muscle Diamond is the one I agree with Mike on. Coming back from Chester, and he's just been racing okay over there. But you look back to his preferred line here at the Meadowlands. Earlier in the year, he was facing the top horses in the country, and and late last year as well, before he got laid up. I think that there was some kind of injury there, but he was a good colt, or horse, I should say. Obviously there's issues there, but very fast horse, and deserves to be respected in this race. And 9-2 morning line, I think, is a little bit overpriced for him. I think he's going to go off a little lower than that. And then the 10 Miss LaRose, obviously post is a concern here. Yannick took off to drive the Hambo eligible horse, which he should, and gets Brett Miller. This horse shows a lot of early speed, and I think Brett Miller is going to fire him early, right off the wings toward the lead. And if he ends up with a pocket trip like he did last time, just needs to shake loose. But this one, definitely a player from the outside post, just because he's got quite a bit of early speed. So 3, 5, 7, 10.
A lot of the reasons you gave for You Do are the very reasons why I don't use this horse. It seems to me they're just going to try and get a mile into him, especially after making that uncharacteristic break last time out of Pocono, which could have been a fatigue break. The horse could have gotten most likely excited, especially since he parked to the quarter. So if anything, they're probably just going to try and sit with him and keep it a little bit more relaxed. And for those reasons, I don't necessarily think he's going to be as competitive this time around as he could be in the future. I'm too deep in this race. We all agree with Muscle Diamond. This horse fits this class level very well. And he's raced against mostly tougher horses through through all of his starts this season. He has 3 starts this season to date. In his debut, he raced decently here at the Meadowlands, and then he's just been up against a little bit tougher in the Open Series over at Harris, Philadelphia. You've seen names like Lagerfeld, Broadway Donna, Guardian Angel Oz, Stutton. Those are all horses that are just above not only another caliber of trotter, but another caliber of this race. So the drop in class, the return to a familiar venue, should all be a perfect concoction of angles to help this horse get to the winner's circle. And then I also agree with the 10 Miss LA Rose. If she can blast off the gate, use some of that tactical speed to get a position up towards the front, she's definitely a factor in this race. And I'm thinking, too, with that outside post, she can be a bit of value to this ticket as well, albeit she's 6-1 on the morning line. Still might end up going off decent odds, especially if they really bet You Do being a Hambletonian eligible, which is questionable. I'm not sure. I'm theorizing, as I always do. 7-10 for me in that third leg. We move on to the final leg of the sequence, race number 11. This race is not pulling up for me until now. 2-year-old filly trotters again in the New Jersey Sire Stakes. We got 1, 2, 4, 9 horses lining up here. And Mike, last time you went real deep, you got a single this time around.
Yeah, I'm going to try the single to 5 here, French Cafe. This is Julian Andy Miller's horse. 2 qualifiers are very good. I like the horse that the horse has dropped 2 seconds, in that second qualifier. Draws well. They usually have him ready. And, a lot of these to the inside don't necessarily impress me. This horse just looks faster than everything else. So I feel like if she trots, she wins. I'll try the 5 in the last.
Not only that, she's by Father Patrick out of Creamy Mimi, a bloodline some thought was not to, let alone legal. Rod, though, you're in agreement. You take one other chance.
Yeah, I just don't. I've never been one to trust 2-year-old trotting fillies ever. So I agree. The 5 is the best right now as far as speed goes. She looks the best. I can't argue anything what Mike said there. But I'm also going to use the other horse that's going to get bet. The 8 Whispering Oaks had 2 good qualifiers. Went out, made the break as the big betting choice at 2-5. just tough luck there. But if she stays flat, I think she's going to be right there with the 5, and I just don't want her to beat me. That's my thing. If she beats me, I would be pretty mad going into this last race. That because I'm going to be live anyway. So she ain't going to beat me. I'm going 5-8.
We know you're not one to trust 2-year-old trotting fillies. You're also not one to really trust any kind of woman, period. But that
right.
said, no pun intended, I do also like the 5 French Cafe. A lot of angles going for her. But I also throw on the 3 Atonement, who has some interesting miles over at Gateway. Gateway, of course, a slower surface to qualify over. So I'm not necessarily worried about those times, but I do like the way she's raced over there. She kicked home in 27 and change last out to win. Before that, tried to go on the lead. They're playing around with this horse. They're playing with her temperament. They're really trying to work with her. And it's stuff like that I get my eyes focused on. And because they're focused on that, I like it. So I'm 3-5 in that last leg, which makes my ticket go as follows. For 50 cents, I am 3-7-8 with 1-3-4. With 7-10 with 3-5. $18 for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
It's 3-4-6-8 with 1-3-4-6-8 with 2-6-7-8 with 5. It's $40.
And Rod.
4-6-7-8 with 3-4-8 with 3-5-7-10 with 5-8. It's $48, and you can see it on your screen right now if you're watching.
And you'll be able to see them on Twitter and Facebook after this 7th race goes. The 7th race features Hannelore Hanover, making her first start since winning the Armbro Flight. Now, we have the option to cover this if we want, or we can move on to some of the stakes action we have Saturday at Pocono.
We're going to cover this. It's
vote now on your phones.
It's Hannelore. It's Hannelore. We want to watch Hannelore.
Yeah, get my face off the screen. Let's bring up Hannelore Hanover. This mare, 6 years old. I swat for all out of high sobriety. How do I remember? Oh, I know I remember this. I had to write it almost every time she won a race. 1-5 right now on the board. Double L Lindy, though, a viable threat to the favorite if he races to his best, at least gauging by the miles he's put in currently. He's 4-1 as the second choice. Pinkman then third choice at 6-1. The rest of them in double digits, including international money, who at 22-1, I think could make the exotics pay fairly well. Last out, he basically put in a mile to just see if the horse could stay flat, because he broke in the Graduate, if you remember the start before that, up at Mohawk, and he was bet down to be the favorite in his next start over at Tioga. You tossed that race out completely. This horse had a good mile at first asking at the Meadowlands. 22-1 is just way too high right now. It's too high. Too high.
No, it's too low because it's too low. Everybody is too low except Hannelore. They're not beating Hannelore. So you can say anything you want about the value of anyone else. I will disagree with you.
Well, that's been North American Horse Update for Friday, June 29th. I've been Ray Catola there. Rod Adams and Mike Ribelsi. Good night.
Yeah, no. It's Hannelore's race.
Let's not get too crazy here.
Rod, do you have a CD copy of Mozart's Violin on you? I don't think so.
Why would I?
Because Mozart, unlike Chief Keef, was one of the greatest composers in modern history.
Bang. Bang, bang. That's Chief Keef.
My point was very much proven.
I think you need to look at the exactas, though, especially, they're not horrible.
No, they're not.
That's what I was saying. With international money.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good right now.
However, I think
obviously she wins usually, 75% of her starts. So, to go against her in a race like this, obviously where the money really isn't down. But I think Pinkman's racing very well. There's nothing wrong with him. I could see
he raced really good last week.
International money. If you pitch out that Woodbine race, which, that was a goofy race if you saw that race. Prior to that, the Graduate start was just fine. And then the Tioga race really had no chance. I don't mind that.
That's what I was saying. He's 25-1.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind the 3 either, who raced well. Throw the breakout in that Armbro Flight final. I could see the 3 and the 4 catching the exacta in the race, and they're 13 and 17 right now. Not bad.
And they're going to the gate for the 7th race. 1-5 favorite, reigning horse of the year, Hannelore Hanover. 4-1 on Double L Lindy and Opulent Yankee. 7-1 on Pinkman. Field of 7 in line and behind at the start, and they're off. Pinkman's leaving out for the top with Hannelore Hanover out there too from in between horses. Then to the center, Opulent Yankee and Celebrity Ruth. 4 across the track around that first turn. Soon to be 3. Hannelore Hanover floating out for middle position while Opulent Yankee marches out to take the top from Celebrity Ruth to the opening quarter. Pinkman's parked out from 3rd up to be 2nd, now rushing up to challenge for the front, while Hannelore Hanover gets away 4th in front of Double L Lindy trotting 5th. 6th away then is International Money. Is one beaten, that's Lord Cromwell, trailing the pack through a 27-1 opening quarter. It's Pinkman in front by 2 1/4 into the backstretch. Opulent Yankee occupies the pocket out and moving from 4th. The odds-on favorite, Hannelore Hanover, up to be 3rd and is rushing up to challenge Pinkman for the top. Celebrity Ruth then shuffled to 4th, while Double L Lindy sits to the inside 5th. International Money's looking to get moving from 6th to the outside. He's jonesing for cover with Lord Cromwell towards the back of the pack through a 55-second half mile. The tempo's quick, 27-4 that second quarter. It's Hannelore Hanover to the far turn. Pinkman sits the pocket then, gapped out 2 lengths, while to the inside, Opulent Yankees locked in by his stablemate Double L Lindy, supplying cover to International Money, now poised 2nd over about 3.5 lengths off the lead. Celebrity Ruth has been shuffled 2nd to last, while Lord Cromwell can't make up his mind. He's half in, half out towards the rear of the pack, but Hannelore Hanover fronts him in 1:23.3. She's still in front of Pinkman. To the outside, Double L Lindy deeper on the track. International Money as they trot through the stretch. Hannelore Hanover is in front, but Pinkman's angling to the outside, giving chase. Then it's back to International Money with Opulent Yankee to the inside, but Hannelore Hanover is strolling home. Hannelore Hanover under wraps here in front of Pinkman. Celebrity Ruth is rallying late, but Hannelore Hanover strolled home in 1:50.3. Pinkman 2nd, Celebrity Ruth 3rd.
I don't think she's ever been better than she is right now.
I agree. Now, look, she brushes to the front, in like a sub-27 second quarter?
Yeah.
And then just goes on. I mean, that's retarded.
She's unbelievable.
I'm going to start the conspiracy. She's actually a pacer.
Yeah. Wrong kind of conspiracy to start, but...
What do you mean wrong kind? There's no wrong kind of conspiracy, because a conspiracy is about
I mean, look at her
being
reach. Look at her reach down the stretch,
Yeah,
and he's just hanging on.
Oh, yeah. And look at Yannick. Yannick was, if you looked at his face, he was like, I'm not going to fly off. I like to picture Yannick as a scared little boy in that situation, just because it's funny.
I love watching her close up, just looking at her. I mean, she's the what do I want to compare her to right now? Something right now.
A tremendous machine.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
one of the worst calls on one of the greatest moments in sports history. Secretariat's moving like a tremendous machine.
You think that's a bad call?
what?
Why can't it be a machine? What makes
It's one of the most famous calls in history.
But why a tremendous?
You think it's a bad call?
Why a tremendous machine? That's my one qualm. Why can't he just be a machine? Why does the adjective have to be there?
Because it accentuates it.
Let's talk about something else before this gets really, really bad.
Yeah, Mike is ready. We actually, Rod, have you broken out the new graphic? We have a Mike Rage meter that's in development. It's in alpha right now.
We actually
and it has, like,
don't.
a little picture of Mike's head moving back and forth, the red bar behind it, and the higher it goes.
That's actually funny. We should do that.
I know. And then
the
when
funniest
you get really
things you've
mad,
said in a long time.
then when you get really mad, we can lose all our funding.
Yeah.
I've been known to drop the occasional. Yeah, I think we need that. Get to work on that.
I won't do that. Rod, do you have an unpaid intern we can abuse with unpaid efforts? And
I mean,
Not
you
yet.
Put that in with the intro video that may get done sometime by next year.
Yeah, Ray's been working on that for 9 weeks. Got a commercial done in 65 seconds, and it's a 30-second commercial. 30-second intro, 9 weeks.
Yeah. It's all about priorities.
Well, you guys get it now. And that's why I have garbage sitting on my floor that I've left from other things I've thrown while doing this show. It just adds character to the set. I have a pillow sitting underneath a piano. I didn't think this was how my life would turn out. Hannelore Hanover going 150-3. That's not a track record. Track record's close to the world record. That is kind of close to the world record. And we're moving on then to the pick 4. Ooh. After that race, we also have Pocono to talk about. We can move on to that. We got some consolations to delve into. I don't mean delve like Delvin Miller. For all you racing fans out there who know who I'm talking about. Ooh, I'm just nailing it tonight.
Signal Hill opened at 5-2, by the way. So.
Who opened at 5-2?
Signal Hill.
You were onto something there. You were onto something there, Mike. Wait, what did this pick 5 pay? This pick 5 pay a whopping $23.
Wow. If you had 5 winners, you got $23.15. Congratulations.
Well, they were all 1 to 5.
There's some nights I'm just so proud to be a racing fan, and it's
even money 3-1, 2-5, 2-5,
1 to 9,
4-5, and then Hannelore, which was 1-5 or 2-5.
It's nights like this that I'm proud to be what I am.
Okay.
Hashtag Ray Pride.
9 to 5.
How's your picks doing tonight at the Meadowlands? Do you have all these 2-5 shots?
I tried to beat some of them.
Oh, good.
Ray Catolo does not chalk out. He also does. What other things doesn't he do? He doesn't speak out. He doesn't.
Eat while driving.
He doesn't come out, but that'll happen eventually.
That closet door is really tight.
Actually, this is part of a new segment. It's called Ray Explains the Joke. Okay, Mike and Rod are, of course, referencing a very popular phrase in modern culture of people who are secretly gay revealing their gayness.
That's why I said hashtag Ray Pride.
I don't think it's really a secret.
Now, what's really funny about this, though, is the gay part, because gay is really funny because it's not how society normally works. And when you see stuff like that, it makes you laugh instead of, realizing that maybe it's just a thing that happens and maybe that's not
on you just makes me laugh.
Yeah, we could just be saying anything. It doesn't really matter as long as we're busting on you.
I could say you stink or something. It's just as funny.
I think it's funnier than gay.
Let's go. Let's move on.
Yeah, enough with my homosexuality. Let's talk about this next race at Pocono Downs. As I walk across the room like Donkey Kong Jr., who I don't know why you had the Donkey Kong arcade machine, and then the next logical step was to put his son Donkey Kong Jr. in a game about math. Donkey Kong Jr. math. The whole premise of the game was to climb vines to add and subtract numbers. Boggles my mind. But that's not what Pocono Downs is about. Pocono Downs is about being a 5/8 mile oval that passes off for a 5/8 mile oval, if you ask most disgruntled horse players. But also the fact that they got stakes actions tomorrow night, including consolations for the James Lynch, the Max Hempt, and the Earl Beale. We know no James Lynch consolation. Ben Franklin consolation. No James Lynch consolation. They only have a final. The Phillies, they were in the consolation. They didn't quite necessarily feel like going into the final. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. But the first race on that card of the consolations, I think is the Franklin. Consolation. I'm going to get confirmation that we got our...
It's the Hemp.
It's the Max Hemp. God dang it. I'm sorry. When I do poorly as a host, it comes out through anger, because my shrink says that anger is the way I've learned to cope with most tragedy in my life. But this race, though, is not like that. It's the Max Hempt, more exact. It's not the Ray's Anger Memorial. It's the Max Hempt Memorial, not to be confused with the medical marijuana stakes. This is the Max Hempt Memorial. The T is very important there, honoring a breeder from Pennsylvania. I know he was a breeder. I don't know what else he did, but he has this race named in honor of him. And this race gathers 9 horses, 9 familiar horses. For those who have followed with the show, as I'm doing right now, I'm doing that stance that most rappers do at a concert, where they get where they get close to their knees and they're like putting their hands out to give people the illusion that they have contacts with who they deem as an actual god. Shout out Kanye. But what I'm getting to is this race has horses that are familiar, because we've talked about them before. We got Dunwell to the outside from the North America Cup. He was runner-up there. He just missed making the Max Hempt final. Grant Teton, he was another North America Cup contender. We have sometimes a winner, who just with that name alone bodes confidence. These consolations usually can provide decent value, and the first thing to note is the best horse in the race, presumably, if we exclude Courtly Choice, is Dunwell, and he has post 9. Right off the bat, that should speak value, should it not?
How do you exclude a horse that he's racing against?
What do you mean?
You said, well, if we exclude Courtly Choice, who is also in the race, this is the best horse. Well, Courtly Choice is the best horse.
Well, Rodney, you clearly don't know this tactic as a host, where it's that when you forget things that are important, you just try to act like they're not important.
Well, Courtly Choice is the best horse in here. I think he wins this race. Last week, he was just too far out of it. He had no chance to win. Big final quarter there. The horse raced very well. Gets Dave Miller back on. Coming off 2 starts back in that consolation for the North America Cup, he was giant in that race. And we saw value in him at even money. And, he absolutely destroyed that field. This is a similar field. These are probably a little bit worse than those, other than maybe Dunwell, who I actually like a little bit, but the outside post is a bit scary because he's got to work pretty hard to be leaving in this race. So for me, Courtly Choice is the choice, and I think as a price play, the 3 sometimes a winner is a nice value play. Second time Lasix, coming off a break, which is a little bit concerning, but I think this horse plays in here and just needs to work out a trip. Second start Lasix, inside post, throw him on.
Mike, for you in a race like this, where you have Courtly Choice as a potential obvious horse, Dunwell, who is the best horse in the race, Rodney, with an outside post, how do you scope out a price?
I do agree that Dunwell is probably better than Courtly Choice, but Courtly Choice is a huge post edge in here, and the prices will reflect that. I would think that, he would be bet a lot harder, and I do agree that race at Woodbine 2-back was a giant race, but it was a stone cold perfect setup on a night that, you needed to, come from off of it, and he flew home in 26, and that's fine. I mean, I don't mind that race, but he was 17-1 last time in the 8-hole coming off that race, and that's, I don't know, I'm not crazy about that. I feel like you could get some value on Dunwell just because of that post, and he had no chance first up last time against Lathrop. I just think that he's better than these. He needs to blast though. 2-back in the North America Cup, he blasted from the 7-hole and got position. He can blast in this race too, and he's not chasing Lathrop or Stay Hungry. Those are better horses than these. So anything above 2-1, I feel like is value on the 9 horse because he is the best horse, and the 4 is going to be overbet due to circumstance. The only other horse I see in the race that could be a price is the 1, Heavenly Sound, who draws better. I like those 2 races, June 10th, June 16th, both wins. Beat older at the Meadowland, albeit, not the best group of horses, but those are nice older horses. Last ended up with an outside trip in the same race and really, didn't disgrace. I mean, was only beaten 7 3/4. Draws the inside, is going to be ignored, and I feel like can catch the ticket. Maybe not win, because I think one of the two main contenders are going to win. But I do like the one to, get a little piece, and should be a price.
I think Heavenly Sound has a chance to win. If you look at his elimination, he's coming out of the tougher of all of them. Lather Up, Nutcracker, Sweet Wes Delight. Those are some of the best horses in the division. Well, also, of course, exiting that race, and he finished better than him. Also does have the post disadvantage. I would want probably more like 4-1, 5-1 on Dunwell.
No way.
Okay, then I'm going with Heavenly Sound then. I don't need to conform to your values. When I got my own value, and the value in this race seems like it's on Heavenly Sound. The post relief is definitely a big advantage. He has good miles in the past. He just ultimately seemed out of the mix last time out because he was coming on the outside. The one other horse that was interesting to me, though, is Points North. This horse returned to the races off of a month's rest last out, and he really didn't get into the mix. He looked like he just rode the rail to get whatever position he could, and it wasn't a bad mile to come back on at first asking, considering his last start before going on layoff. He went to the front, was chasing a fast pace, and then ultimately quit to finish 4th here at Pocono Downs. The race he's coming off of is a massive improvement from that, and I wouldn't be surprised if this horse could hit the ticket at a big price. He seems a lot more interesting than, say, sometimes a winner who I know Rod likes, but I don't, because in every race he goes, he breaks for some reason.
I don't like him either.
That doesn't really bode, that doesn't really give me much confidence in him, but then again, that's probably why his name is sometimes a winner. Then again, actually I don't have anything else from then again. I agree, Mike, Heavenly Sound will provide a great price in this race. Points North is an interesting exotic contender to me that I may end up using, but if you're going for, like, if you don't care about value one bit, you want the horse that's probably going to win the race, it's probably Dunwell. He should win. He is the horse that should win the race. Courtly Choice finds every excuse to not win a race, and that doesn't really sit well with me. But he could also prove me wrong and pay a whopping $3 for all I care. That's how I play. I'm sticking to it. Aside from the Max Hemp's consolation, keeping track at the Meadowlands, 5-2 on the one entry? Really? Wow, You Need Stones adds trotting hopples, so that probably makes them think that's going to make them stay flat. Who knows, though? After the Hemp's consolation is the consolation for the Ben Franklin Memorial, this race honoring a great man who is featured in our adverts prior to the show for tying a key to a kite and then discovering electricity. For those of you who don't know, that's actually what he did. How he survived that, we don't have time to talk about that. 8 horses in this race. We got a lot of familiar names. Makatso to the inside, Split the House, the Breeders' Crown winner last year. He's 3-1 on the morning line. This race looks interesting. This race looks really interesting. I'm not looking at it for the first time. I'm just trying to play up that it looks interesting. Mike, do you agree with that?
I like a horse a lot in the race, and that's the 5 Missile J. No chance in the Battle of Lake Erie. Then open handicap at Yonkers, went 51-1, just missing. Last time I made an uncharacteristic break early, and then still ended up coming back to get beat less than 2 to Heavenly Rocks, and that was a huge race. I thought this horse has a ton of back class, and I just feel like 4th off the layoff. This is the perfect field for him. Really, I think he is sitting on a big one as long as he stays flat. And that was a goofy break last time. I don't really put much into that. I'm just going to totally throw that out. And this horse is going to rely on his class, probably be up in the mix early again, and maybe on the ones back. Who knows? I feel like he trips out, and he should be 4-1 ish to win.
4-1 value for Mike there, Rod. What about for you?
I mean, I kind of agree. Missile J should be played in this race and definitely fits in there. I think maybe it could be a little bit of a tough spot because there is quite a bit of early speed in this race, and he likes to go. The break last time I think was just a speed break. They were rocking pretty good, and the horse that plays a little bit for me, he was a bit empty last week, but maybe Scott Rocks can be the trip horse in here to sit off the pace. If they go like 25 and change, 53 and change to the half, I think this horse could get the setup here. And, he shows some decent final quarters when he gets a trip. He's a player at a decent price. But, as far as my biggest player in here, I was on check 6 last week. He was not very good. And I'm going against him. So Delta winner for me from the inside post. I think he's primed for this race. Just too far back to be able to get there in that last race against Sintra. And I think he's one of those horses that does pretty well on the smaller tracks sometimes. But, he's got the inside post, and he might be able to get a nice trip in here because Mockett So, we all know where he's going. Check 6 doesn't usually leave. He kind of waits to make his move. Split the House could go. Missile J's going to go. This is going to be whoever gets the best trip is going to win this race, I think. So I think maybe Delta winner on top and Scott Rocks, throw him on your ticket somewhere as well.
Well, if that's the case, if you look back in the catalog of Delta winners' wins at this level, most of them have come off of a trip and off a given circumstance that set the race up for him to win. I think back to whatever the big pacing race is at Tioga that they have. He basically flew by horses there because they went a little too fast on the lead. And from post 2, if this horse is dismissed at 6-1 or anything higher than that, I agree with that could be value in this race. Because from that inside post, you got to think he at least pushes out to get some kind of tactical positioning. The other note I had is I have no idea why Check 6 was on the lead last time. You'd think by now they'd realize this horse is not good on the lead. He's a little lazy on the lead every time he races there. He's better chasing horses. But if that's the case, that last race in particular, it's a little concerning considering the other miles he's put in prior to. It looks a bit like a digression. So a degrading, a regression, a regression. I mix up degrading and regress. I do it all the time. Regression. It looks like a regression. I like degression though. Can we get that to catch on? You think?
No.
Oh, you got no confidence in the memes, Mike. I have confidence though in Delta winner. I feel like Rod was completely spot on. Of the horses that could get a trip, he's probably gonna be the best price to do so. Missile J could get one too, assuming he gets to the front and someone brushes past him. He can get that pocket trip, and that could play well for him. But I feel like Delta winner is going to be a bit of a better price for an equal chance of winning in this race. Split the House is going to be overbet. So we're going to go back to the Meadowlands. We got through those two. We're going to go to break after this race that starts the pick 4. It's the 8th race. I'm seeing Signal Hill is 34-1 right now. I'm going, hold the phone. This place needs to shut up.
They're 5-2, and nobody bet another dollar on them.
Yeah.
This track needs to take my money right now. Jesus Christ.
I think the 4's value at 10-1.
You gonna bet him then?
Nothing wrong with that. I would take that.
Are you gonna take it?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
Signal Hill, the price on Signal Hill is ridiculous, to be honest with you. It's crazy. This horse, he's 30-1, but no, he's still 34-1. I mean, how?
That tells you he's no good, Rod.
No, it doesn't. That doesn't tell me it.
Yes, it does.
No.
The early money stat written on it in particular, this horse is gonna win by 100, and there was a $100 bill.
Any horse that opens up 7-2 off of a 12-1 morning line, somebody bet
and
early
then
money.
35-1.
That doesn't bother. That's other money coming in. The early bet came in.
Okay, I mean, I get what you're saying, but typically when an early bet comes in like that, the money stays. The money continues to come in. Not, take one initial bet and then you're 35. mean, that's rare.
Well, they're going.
You know, I do like the early money, but I don't like the fact that the horse never took another dollar the rest of the way.
Well, we got 2 minutes to figure out if it means anything. They're in motion.
They're going.
On the way. Made a bit of a break before the start. He's back trotting. The rest are trotting, and they're off and away. What a knockout from the center. Fires for the lead, leaving out 2 to not over to the inside. Dawson Springs moving up for position as they move around the first turn as they go to the opening quarter. What a knockout. Kicks away by 2.5 to lead to not over. That's a gap of another 3 to Dawson Springs, third in front of Samo Different Day, fourth, fifth away. Then You Need Stones to the inside. Sammy's Rolling Stone then is to the inside of More Than Talk. They're then back to Signal Hill, who's towards the back of the pack as they move on down the backstretch to a 28-2 opening quarter. What a knockout leads the way. Leads here by 3 over to not over, sitting second. Still a gap of 3 lengths to Dawson Springs, third. Samo Different Day remains fourth. Fifth then, You Need Stones to the inside. Sammy's Rolling Stone parked out. Help is on the way. More Than Talk still second to last. Signal Hill out and moving from the back, but he's about 13 lengths off the leader. What a knockout through a 56-1 clip. 27-4 that second quarter, moving to the far turn. Out of fourth, Samo Different Day is going to supply cover to You Need Stones. Third up then, Help is on the way, while Sammy's Rolling Stone shuffled back, as is Dawson Springs, third to the inside, now racing fifth. Moving around the final turn, midway around the final turn. What a knockout. A length in front. Samo Different Day marches up to be second, while Donato sits tightly in the pocket third. You Need Stones is to the outside fourth as Dawson Springs made a break to the inside of Help is on the way past 3/4. It's What a Knockout in 125-1, leading Samo Different Day. Off cover, You Need Stones, and deeper on the track comes Help is on the way with Donato looking for room to the inside. Coming down to that 8th ball. What a knockout. Clinging to command. Samo Different Day trying to slide by with the knot over the inside, and Signal Hill flying late to the center. What a knockout by a neck. Samo Different Day second, to not over third, tight for fourth in 152-4.
What did I say before the race?
Look, you don't need to be braggadocious about it. I was going to say good call. That was a good call, Mike.
Yeah. I bet 10-10. I mean, shit, I thought that was value.
Yeah.
12-1.
That's what you should do. You're alive in the pick 4, as is Rod. I got knocked out.
I mean, the horse was either stay flat or, you know, I mean, it was one of those races. I don't know. That was just too big a price. I mean, that's one of those races.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to the gate, and you say, hey, why is the 4 12-1? You know, the 7 raced well too, by the way. I mean, I would bet him back off of that.
Oh yeah, Help is on the way. Got fourth. 4, 6, 3, 8. Top 4 in the 8th race. Mike and Rod move on with a 12-1 to kick off the pick 4. Coming up on more Pee Wee's Playhouse, we got the rest of Sun Stakes Saturday to talk about from the Downs at Mohegan Sun Pocono, including the consolation for the Earl Beal, and then the finals for the Earl Beal, the Ben Franklin, the Max Hampton, the James Lynch, as well as the $7,500 guaranteed pick 4 from Running Aces Casino and Racetrack for Sunday, July 1st. We're going to be diving into the deep end of the kiddie pool. Coming back here on more North American Harness Update in a bit here on SRN1. Stay tuned, but for now, something new.
So I want to thank all of you for letting me come back here to see, what really happens backstage. It's an honor for me to be able to be in front of all of you, especially you and you and you. But I do have to say that there's money on the line out there, and you don't want to go out on the track and do something that seems a little bit iffy. Just get that extra check, because it might come back to haunt you a bit later. So clean and fair competition is all I want to see from all you guys. All right? Yes.
Can I pick up a pylon and hold it until the stretch and then throw it to somebody passing me?
That to me does not sound clean and fair. That sounds, in fact, not clean and very unfair, and also kind of inconvenient. So, are you getting off the horse, or no? Okay, yes.
Is it all right if you're gonna loop the field and drag your whip in a manner and then flip off the judges or anything?
I mean,
that's not okay.
If the camera doesn't see it, but it doesn't seem like a good idea, because the camera could always keep that. Yes.
Is it okay if I drink this during the race?
No. That can get you pulled over by the horsey police that are following you around the track there. That's a bad idea. That's very unfair, very unclean. I'd check your liver if I were you. Okay, so, yes.
Is it okay to challenge somebody with a foot race after the race?
You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. That seems pretty...
What if he's over 65?
So,
and he has tennis shoes and you have boots?
So he's old and he's not wearing shoes?
But he's from California.
No, he wears tennis shoes.
He's from California.
But if they're tennis shoes and he's from California, doesn't that mean he's like fit and vegan?
Actually, he is.
Then he's definitely clean, and that to me seems unfair for whoever's going against him.
Yeah, because they have boots on.
Look, I just want to see you guys out there racing those horses as fairly as you possibly can. All right. So do we have everyone clear on that? Clean and fair. No drinking and driving. No pylons. No middle fingers. Foot races are okay, but I'm focused more on the horse foot races.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that seems clean and fair to everybody. I feel like that's a no. Someone's hiding something.
Juan, what do you think?
Juan?
¿Cómo estás?
That's two, Juan.
Oh, that's...
¿Es correcto si pateas el caballo cuando va en la carrera?
Sí.
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 Sí. Yeah.
That sounds clean and fair to me. Go out and do that. Everyone follow his lead, all right? That's what I want to see, okay?
Which is fair.
So we're gonna end this on a chant, all right? Clean and fair.
No.
Clean and fair.
Never.
I'm hooking somebody.
Dandy Farms is proud to announce the arrival of Sire World of Rock and Roll to Illinois. Regally bred World of Rock and Roll is by Rock and Roll Hanover out of Worldly Beauty, an earner of $1.9 million and from the family that sired $3 million champion pacer Captain Treacherous. World of Rock and Roll, a winner on the Grand Circuit, has sired foals with a total of over $3.3 million in earnings, including 2-year-old filly pacer of the year in Ohio, Bad Girls Rule. Standing at Walker Standardbreds for $1,500, call Dandy Farms at 312-446-8310 or go to dandyfarm.com and book your mare today.
Join us September 3rd, 2018 at the annual Illini Classic Yearling Sale. Over 100 yearlings from top Illinois sires such as Doomside Perch, Sagebrush, Sportsmaster, Cassis, Pizzazzed, and many others will be sold. Recent sales graduates include 2018 Cardinal winner Holden Steady and 2017 Illinois 3-year-old Colt Pacer of the Year Captain Red. Visit IlliniClassic.com for details. The Illini Classic Yearling Sale, where champions are found.
LeBlanc Designs has been in the harness racing business for over 20 years. Based in Truro, Nova Scotia, and beginning with clients from Truro Raceway, LeBlanc Designs now offers handcrafted and personalized helmet designs to some of harness racing's top drivers, including Tim Tetrick, Hall of Famer David Miller, Corey Callahan, and many more. LeBlanc Designs also offers airbrushing and vinyl designs for hockey masks, motorcycle helmets, and guitars. For more information, go to LeBlancDesigns.com or call it 902-899-7922.
I'll have more updates on SRN1 for now in full palm.
Thank you, Phil. Welcome back to more Norm Macdonald Has a Show. I'm Norm Macdonald, not here to say any of the vowels associated with my family's farm, because I'm past that. Joined here by Mike Rebosi, Rod Adams Jr., carrying you into the second hour of this wonderful showcase of racing action for you racing fans all in attendance. When you last left off, and when we last left off too, Mike and Rod continue on in the late pick 4 at the Meadowlands, $50,000 guaranteed pool. They started with a 12-to-1 shot. I, however, was too stupid and what's the phrase? What's the word? The Greek word for Great Pride. Oh, why is it escaping me? Oh,
Great Pride.
I had too much hubris. Too much hubris. That's for all of the reading fans out there. I know this is a racing fan show, but the reading fans also get some attention too. I had too much hubris to take What a Knockout, and ironically, I am the one knocked out. We also talked about the Max Hemp Memorial Consolation and the Ben Franklin Memorial Consolation. We got more racing to talk about while we're in between races at the Meadowlands. We have the consolation of the Earl Beal up next to go over. Now, these are the 3-year-old trotters. These are some horses we could potentially see on the Hambletonian Day at the Meadowlands in the New Jersey area. Hambletonian eligibles in this race include Fashion Forever, Missile Hill, Gemologist Tito, and Moo Sini. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hopefuls competing in the $75,000 consolation, fronted by last year's Breeders' Crown winner and one of the many ineligible to the Hambletonian in this race, $50 Bill. Made a break last time, still kicked home well to finish 4th in 27-3, but 4th was not good enough to make the final when there were 3 eliminations. So first things first, we have a race like this. $50 Bill seems like the clear-cut favorite. Is there value anywhere?
Yes.
I think there's some value in the one.
Turn your volume down, Ray.
It was 138 for one against Manchego and $50 Bill and a lot of these other, but those races 2 and 3 back are solid. This horse draws much better, gets Yannick, which I like, and is going to be ignored. I feel like he's going to have this horse in the mix early. And, with a lot of these horses, especially the horses that are going to be bet like the 3, the 5, having gate issues, and some of the other contenders like the 7 drawing outside, the 8 drawing outside, who've been racing well, but they're against it post-wise. I feel like there is a lot of value in the one. Albeit 5-1 morning line, I think you can get double that. I think you can get 10-1.
Are you not concerned by his class disadvantage at all? Because he seems.
I do agree that he's up against it class-wise, but he's getting some things to his advantage. He's getting the post switch. He's getting the driver switch. He's going to be a price in the race. So, and a lot of these other ones, if you look at the 2. This horse had bad posts at Woodbine, but, he's been unimpressive. While kicking home, he still leaves himself with too much to do. The 3 has gate issues. The 5 has broken 2 starts in a row. And then these other horses are drawn outside. So, I don't know. You're looking for value. If you want to take even money on, a $50 Bill, who's supposed to win the race by 10 lengths, most likely, but the problem is that the horse can't stay flat. So, I liked him in the good times. I thought he would win that race. Break last time 7-hole interference break, still raced well, but you want to take 3 to 5 on this horse. I don't really like the race personally, but
let's ask Rod that question then, because I feel like he might say yes.
No, I'm not taking. I don't like the 5. I don't like the direction he's going in his last couple starts. Now the break over at Mohawk. I'll give him the excuse a little bit there. He got jerked out 3 wide turning for home, and a horse broke in front of him. They didn't chart him an interference break, but it clearly was an interference break. He had to get out of the way, and then he made his own break trying to get out of the way. So I give him the excuse there in the good times. Last week, I'm not giving him the excuse. I think he's a good horse. I think he's probably the fastest horse in this race, but he's got to keep it together. That's my biggest issue. So I'm going to go against him. I like the 1 a little bit, Fashion Forever. I think he's got that sneaky gate speed. Yannick jumps on. Corey Callahan took the 3 in here, and he's getting the hobbles back on with the 3 as well. But the 1, Fashion Forever, with Yannick, I think is going to be firing hard off the gate. A little bit cheap, but I think plays from the rail and is going to be a decent price. Over Pocono, speed holds very, very well over there. So I think he's going to fire in a race where there's not much other gate speed. And, he could end up getting away with a 57 and change first half, and the race will be over. He's going to win because they're going to have to outsprint him, and I don't think they can if he gets away real cheap. So, he's going to be tough just based on being up close and likely either cutting the mile or getting a 2-hole trip.
Well, keep in mind, us saying that speed usually holds at Pocono most likely means that horses will be exclusively closing the entire night on the program. However, you're talking
about something completely different than it ever. It rarely plays the closers. Rarely. It could, but it just rarely does it.
There's a full moon out there, and it's been affecting me. If you could not tell, my horoscope did not come up blank for once, so I felt a little more optimistic about my fate because if I don't have horoscopes, I don't have any direction in my life. But speaking of pace in this race, back to something that matters only to you guys. Mousini has the speed to be put into the race. My one concern with him is he doesn't have that strong a kick home. That's why Missile Hill appeals to me here in this spot. Because Missile Hill is always kicking home strongly, and from an inside post, he has the chance to not be as far out of the mix as he has been his last few starts. However, Mousini, we know, has gate speed. He can be pushed off the gate and put into the mix. If this horse gets a trip, he's probably ignored on the board firsthand. Do we think that he has a chance to sit off that pace, or sit close to that pace and kick home well? Because the more I look at it, the more it seems like he makes the most sense from a pace factor.
I don't mind Missile Hill.
Early. That's the whole key to the race. If McNair has this horse, but the problem is I don't see any gate speed from any. Those races at the Meadows had the rail, ended up 6th out of 8 early. Had the 3-hole Pocono, ended up 5th out of 8 early. Then outside post at Woodbine really was last both times. Then had the rail last time, 5th out of 7 early. So where are we getting this gate speed? Where are we finding it? I don't know. I don't see it.
Well, I was talking first off with Mousini. He has clear speed. With Missile Hill, it could very well just be by virtue of post position.
Well, the problem with Missile Hill, I don't mind Missile Hill in this race, but the problem is he's likely going to end up first over. And that's going to be a bad spot for him because he's just got to sit out there, and he's going to have to sit for a long ways. And
how do you know? How do you know this?
Because I can read a program.
Well, no, because I think he could be second over. I think he could ride the rail. I don't think first over is the most likely situation.
Here's my question to you. When you say something like that, so you want him to get away early. Good. Okay, so what does that mean? 3rd, 4th, 5th, what? Where do you want him early? If you think he's getting away good because of post.
He can win from the spot he was in last week.
I'm asking you, where do you think he'll be early?
Anywhere that is not 9th.
Where do you think he'll be?
Where I think he'll
3rd,
be
4th, what? Where?
I don't handicap a race thinking this horse is going to be 6th at the quarter. That doesn't make it.
That's how I handicap.
You're 3rd early. That's what Rod's getting at. If you get away good early, he's going to end up first up, and that's why he's saying that. You're not going to be second over if you're 3rd early. Second over behind what? The pocket sitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's trying to tell you.
I don't get that.
That's how I handicap every single race.
How are you going to be second over when you're 3rd early off the gate? You're going to be second over from there? No.
The point I was making, I did not say any place the horse would get off the gate. I said the horse can push off the gate and be in a tactical spot like he did last week.
Okay, so my question to you, which I think is a fair question, was, well, where do you think he's going to be early? 4th, 5th, 6th?
No, here's the thing with handicapping. I don't know. I think he can be 5th, he could be 6th, he could break at the start.
Then that's all you have to say. Just say that. Just say, I think he'll get away 5th or 6th and end up second over. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
That's exactly what I was saying, though. I don't know.
No, it wasn't.
Peanut gallery.
It sounded very different from that. Very different.
Whenever Rod said he's going to end up first up, and you're like, well, how do you know? Because Rod's setting the race up.
That's how I handicap every single race.
I got nothing to say to that. I just know when I start making claims of horses being in exact spots, it doesn't really work well for me. I think Missile Hill, either way, has the tactical ability to win this race, and he needs to be put in that spot. He can get into that spot because as he has enough speed to not be last at the quarter, but he doesn't have enough speed to be third. And that can put him into the race. I don't know who's going to go first over. I don't know who's going to be second over. He could get second over. But the point being is I'm going to be looking at the board. I don't know what kind of play he's going to be getting. He's probably going to be one of the favorites because he's one of the few horses that shows any kind of quarter sub 28 in this final quarter. Which then maybe
goes for one. I mean, that's going to attract the money. He's consistent. He doesn't really ever break. He's getting checks in the bigger races.
Well, he's
getting a better post as
where
opposed to some of the races he had. I mean, he's going to take money, but I don't think he's going to be favored like the 5 is.
Where I how do I want to word this? Ray, I'm going to teach you a little something about trip handicapping.
That's
okay.
the thing you could have said.
While you do it, can we light up the firewood? It's been awfully cold this winter, Papa.
No, I'm going to teach you a little something. If you can watch enough races, and in my case, be in enough races, to look at a program and see a rough setup of how you think that race is going to set up, you handicap based on what you think the setup is going to be. I could look at a program for a minute and a half, tell you who's going to be the most likely horses to get away first, second, third, and fourth, and who's going to be the most likely to get away 8th, 9th, and 10th. And I would say 60% of the time I'm right.
But 40% is still an awfully big number.
Okay,
Papa.
so if I'm right 60% of the time, so now of that 60%, all I've got to do is hit a 3-to-1 shot, 1 out of 4 races of that 60%. And I'm still making money.
Wow, really?
Math there, but anyway.
You get my point. If you hit the right number based on setup enough times, you're going to make money.
We need to move on, really. We do.
Well, we've got 1 minute at the Meadowlands.
Yeah.
Race 9.
Because my face was starting to hurt holding that pose. Woo. Posture's everything. You want to maintain
3,
posture.
4, and 8. I'm live to 3, 4, 8 here.
1 to 5 on the 3.
That's a crazy price.
Mike's alive to 1, 3, 4, 6, 8. However, 9 to 1 on Devilish Delight. I'm gonna bite.
Oh, he's biting.
And we want to thank the Meadowlands for allowing us to use their live video.
I think there's a lot of chances in this race. I don't understand the 1 to 5. I mean, I don't know. The horse looks great, but 1 to 5.
Is your countdown clock done?
1, 3, 4, 6, 8.
Is your countdown clock done?
7 to 1 4 is a fantastic price. Here we go again. Another 4.
Meanwhile, someone made the 1-7-1. Who did it? Who made it 7 to 1?
Was that you?
It was not me. I don't bet that much. They're
We
going
know.
to the gate. Shout out to the man in the red shirt and the yellow shirt standing at the grandstand, at the fence. We got 9 horses in line. Freshmen, filly trotters behind the gate. Moving up at the start, and there they go. Starita from the outside shows speed, as does Given from the center. Special Honor then out too with Devilish Delight towards the inside and moving into that first turn. Given going for the lead. Special Honor in between them goes for the pocket. Devilish Delight backs to be third in front of Miss Trixton fourth. Queen of Trixes is fifth in front of Golden Trixton sixth. Seventh to the outside of that opening quarter, Starita with Lady Allaire to the inside, and July is in the back of the pack through a 29-4 opening quarter. Out of the pocket, Special Honor, she's odds on, she's going to the top. Given a bit steppy there, trying to yield to her to the 3/8 pole, while Devilish Delight stalks them from third. Miss Trixton is fourth. And now 4.5 lengths off the lead, held by Special Honor, as Gibbons trying to keep stride, bobbing her head back and forth. She's gapped out 3.5 lengths on the new leader. To the outside, from the back, we have going Queen of Trixes with Golden Tricks tracking that one. To the inside, Lady Allaire moves up. It's a lot of movements happening behind them. Starita's out and moving too. 59 4.5 set up by Special Honor. Leading here by 3 lengths to the far turn. Given still second. To the outside comes Devilish Delight. Off stride went Golden Tricks. Queen of Tricks then is dropped out towards the back of the pack. Starita's up to be 4th. Matching strides with Miss Trixton to the inside, but those two in tandem are 5 lengths behind Special Honor, passing that 3/4 pole in 129-1 with a 2.5 length advantage on Devilish Delight moving up to be 2nd. Starita's taking 3rd. From Given dropping back to the inside. Special Honor into the stretch under a hand drive here, leads by 3.5. Devilish Delight 2nd. Given just went off stride with Starita moving up towards the center and Miss Trixton to be 4th. Special Honor is coasting away here, the 1/8 of a mile to go. Starita's quickly moving up to take 2nd from Devilish Delight. Took a couple of bad steps in the stretch. Going to hold on to 3rd for Miss Trixton and Lady Allaire in 157-1. There you have Queen of Tricks with Given then finishing, followed by Golden Tricks. And at some point, July will hit the line.
Bumpy, bumpy.
Wait for it. Wait for it. There she is.
Who are you waiting for?
July.
That thing was. She was a handful.
She was good, but she was the best gated horse out of any of them. The rest of them were bouncing all over the racetrack.
No, the 4. I'm talking about the 4. She was a handful.
The 4 was trying to run the entire race. The 1 was running late.
Well, she was
completely misdriven, but that's another story.
The 4 was throwing her head. Did you see her when she made that break finally? Throwing her head around, just not focused. Immature.
It's 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
2-year-olds.
That's what I was saying earlier. You can't trust any of them. Because things like that happen that just haven't happened before because they're still 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
Actually, what I bet happened was Yannick was yelling, "Go! Go!" And then she goes, "No! Oh no, my glasses! No, come back, glasses!"
Don't lose them. We know you can't see.
I need my sight.
We have to move on. We got to move on now.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, we spent enough time talking about nothing. Again.
Hey, nothing can be something in most cases. That was off a fortune cookie I ate once.
Pardon me while I punch my lady pick 4 at Mohawk on NAHU Pit Stop. I'm going to do that.
You're
Feel
also
free to talk about something, of substance.
Okay.
Well, if that...
Let's make it the Lynch Memorial.
Let's make it the Ray's Last Show Memorial.
Oh, for God's sake.
The Lynch is a $300,000 race, 9 horses going postward. We had eliminations for this last week because that's the only way there could be a final unless there's buys. So we got You Are My Candy Girl World Champion starting from post 2. We have another elimination winner in Kissin' in the Sand. There were 2 eliminations. Open draw for these races. Kissin' in the Sand, far outside. You Are My Candy Girl to the inside. First things first, these filly paces always have an interesting pace setup.
Yeah, in this race, usually with the 3-year-old fillies, and we discussed this last summer as well, these 3-year-olds, you see a lot of them, the horses on the front are usually the ones that hold. And now that we're in the heat of the summer, it's going to be 90-something degrees at Pocono tomorrow. The front end is going to be very, very good. So I'm taking You Are My Candy Girl in here. Adding Lasix, I don't see them beating her in this race. I just think she's a little bit too good, and she adds Lasix after, she was pretty well in hand in that last race.
Let me ask you 2 questions. Okay, I have to. Okay, do you think she's as good as she was last year?
No.
Okay, so that's number 1. And for 2, does that bother you that she's adding Lasix off a win?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Because the addition of Lasix is because she bled. She beat these horses bleeding last week.
Okay.
And she's going to be on the lead again. I mean, she's going to be on the lead. I see no issue playing her. I don't think she's going to be like a 6-5 shot. You know,
I think she'd be less.
Oh no, they're going to bet the one. They're going to bet her.
I love the one in the race.
I like the one. I just think You Are My Candy Girl is going to be. She's going to be like 9-5, 2-1, because the one's going to take a lot of money.
Here's my thing though. This horse hasn't been. I mean, you know, it's usually 1-5, 2-5. Now last week was 6-5 against a lot of these. I don't know. I think you're probably looking at even money again. I could be wrong, but I just.
I think there's just too much money to be spread around between other horses in here for her to be even money. If she's that low, I'd be betting against her.
Who else are they going to bet besides the 1 and the 9?
Those are the three they're going to bet, and they can't bet the 2 down to even money against those 2 horses. They just can't.
Last week they were 2 4-5 shots. I mean, in the same race. I mean, they can do it.
I am confused by how you guys see this race setting up, because this race usually turns out to be so speedy that it collapses. And that's what you have to bet on, because otherwise there's no money to be made, really. And I see 2 potential horses that can capitalize off that. The one is I'm Trigger Happy, who raced decently in the elimination, and the other is Double Mint, who also raced decently off the elimination. Those 2 are going to be in the spots to capitalize off the pace collapsing. I say those 2 because I don't know who's going to end up being the better value come post time. I do know that You Are My Candy Girl is going to take money. I know Sidewalk Dance is going to take Chris Oakes money. And I know Kissin' in the Sands is going to take Class money to the outside. So at the very least, I'm Trigger Happy's definitely going to be the lower price of the 2 I'm thinking here. But Double Mint seems to be getting better with each start, that she is not necessarily worth keeping off either, because the only money I feel to be made in this race is betting that it collapses. Because You Are My Candy Girl only won by a neck last time. Only by a neck. And there's going to be so much speed and so much pressure in this race, and she's shown in the past, clearly in the fan Hanover elimination, that she can't handle that. Lasix or no Lasix, I think.
Well, I don't like the 2 at all in the race. I feel like there's just too many negatives for me, especially with the price. I do like the 1 because I think that the horse is going to get the pocket and get a perfect trip. And if the 2 can carry her to the stretch, that she's going to have a bigger chance than most of these. You know, there's. I mean, I also like the 6, but I've liked the 6 all year. She, depending on her price, you're going to get value on her because she's typically overbet too. But like Rod said, with everything else in the race, and she could get a trip. I don't mind that race last time, especially first up. If she's second over, she has a chance to pop.
I definitely agree with that as well. There's a lot of horses that have a shot to win this race, but the way I would look at it and bet it is whichever horses look like they're going to come from off the pace. Kissin' the Sand could do that as well, especially from post 9. It would be suicide if she goes out to try and take the lead. It's not her style, and it probably won't help her from post 9 at all to go do that.
Yeah,
I mean, the price would dictate there, I think.
I also kind of hope Louis Waugh, who's coming down here with the 4, just kind of goes guns a-blazing as well to throw the race up a bit. That would also.
You know how Waugh is. You know, the typical Waugh blast is. You know, it wouldn't shock me.
That would make. There's a race coming up too that we're going to talk about that I think is one of the best betting races of the year so far.
All right, let's keep going because we are running out of time, boys.
We have a half hour.
Yeah, we still have the pick 4.
We still have these other races at Pocono. You still have the Meadowlands.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
We still have a bunch of. I'm sure that there'll be some sort of tangent that gets blown up for 10 minutes. We always have to bank on that.
Breathe in. Breathe out. The train can keep moving, but if the train moves too fast, it derails. If it moves too slow, it never gets to the station on time. I also found that in a fortune cookie. This next race we're talking about is the Maxi Hemp Memorial. But to recap on the Lynch, I think I'm Trigger Happy, Luxus Power, Double Mint. Those are the 3 contenders I'd be looking at, and I'm going to be gauging prices as they fluctuate on the tote board. In the Hemp, however, another race with a lot of speed. Morning line favorite, though, Lather up at 2-1. Has he established himself at this point to be another caliber of horse?
I mean, he's the best horse. There's a lot of 1s on that page. He's 7 for 7 this year. That's
He's
crushing sub 150 every week.
Yeah.
Even despite sometimes not the best drives, he still just overcomes and wins by open lengths. I mean, he's not beating stuff by a nose. He's winning by 2 and 3 per run every time. And that's the difference.
Yeah, you remember back, when was that? It had to be back in April. Maybe his first start.
Mm-hmm.
He just showed those average lines racing in like sire stakes or whatever it was last year.
You mean?
Yeah. So that was May. So they were good miles, nothing great, but we all started jumping on his bandwagon, and ever since then, he's really shown that he's the best 3-year-old colt right now, and he's going to be tough to beat. I don't care where he draws. He got used pretty hard last week in that first quarter, and he still just crushed him. He had a ton left. I mean, I'm not going to go against him yet. I want to see more from somebody else before I go against him.
Well, the problem with that ideology too, and it's the catch-22 of the entire situation, is if you're going on that philosophy, you might miss the chance on getting the best price on an up-and-coming horse. And Lather Up, to me, this seems like the race where if they're going to press him, it could be this one. The North American Cup was one thing, and they tried to, but they really didn't at the same time. Because once that horse got the lead, no one else came after him. And whether that's because he was leagues better or because that's how the race unfolded, those are two different debates. But especially at Pocono, if this horse grabs the front, it's not like he's not going to be pressured. Although, did Wiglet Jiggler win this race? I don't remember.
I don't think he was in the race, was he?
Wiglet Jiggler was in the Hemp, wasn't? Or was he in the Franklin? Am I thinking of the Franklin?
He won the Franklin.
I'm thinking of the Franklin. But that's my point is, like, Wiglet was a better caliber horse, but these races, they're incredibly aggressive because that's just usually how the races unfold at Pocono. And that said, he may have finished 2 lengths off of him in the elimination, but with this draw, and if they really go at him, Nutcracker Sweet is going to be a great
Come on.
race.
Every week.
Come on.
You use him every week.
He's a quality horse, but he needs the setup. And why blame me for going against the obvious?
I'm not blaming you for that.
I don't mind that. I don't mind him, but I don't think you're going to get the price that you want there.
He's one that I would use underneath again.
Second, draws the rail. I mean, what do you think you're getting?
I think you could get that if you hit Man Hill won his elimination. That's Chris Oakes right off the bat. Stay Hungry is just Stay Hungry. He's a great horse. He's going to take money. Lather Up should be odds on off those lines. So with that could probably inflate Nutcracker Sweet to be around that 10-1.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's true.
Oh, and of course there's Dorsaduro too. They're going to bet the elimination winners. That's a given.
It's a tough race. If you're looking to beat the favorite, because they all look the same to me beyond him. I mean, Stay Hungry is another story. He's the obvious second choice in the race with his back class, with his trips. No chance in the North America Cup final. No chance from the 8-hole last time, and raced well enough, I thought, in an elimination to set him up for this race. I mean, he would be the one that I would be interested in at anything above 4-1 for sure, with his back class and his ability to go as fast as they need to go to win. Plus, he has a post edge, so there's a lot to like about him, depending on the price.
And he definitely has been one to race well off a trip. But the one thing I do want to note with Nutcracker Sweet is looking at his race the start before in the North America Cup, he parked that entire mile. And so last week might have been just a tightener. If he gets the setup, I think he's going to be heavily ignored and is on par with Stay Hungry.
He's a fine pick in the race. I don't know if he can win it, but he can get a piece for sure.
He can win if they go ballistic.
Well, that and he gets room. I mean, that's another thing too.
Passingly.
Because it's not like he's going to be out first up again, I don't think.
Passingly.
Yeah.
We'll see.
With that, the Ben Franklin Memorial is a time-honored tradition, mostly because it's held every year. It's a $500,000 stake race, 9 horses going postward. We have elimination winners Heaven Rocks, all bets off, and the third one being what's his face Hanover McWicket. Those three, McWicket, the morning line favorite. He seems to be back on form in the Mohawk Gold Cup. Paced the final 3 quarters in 18 and 4, if I'm not mistaken. So he clearly has the speed. He won his elimination, showing that speed. Is he just the speed?
I like Heaven Rocks in the race. I couldn't believe how big he was bet last time, and he raced to it. I mean, this horse was one of the very few that came from off of it to win last week, and he looked very good. He never looked like a loser the whole way. Kicked home 27 and 1 and a 49 and 3. He doesn't have the name of the McWicket, of the All Bets Off, of the Sintras, Filibusters. They're all going to take money. I'm very curious to see what kind of price you get on this horse. He draws perfect. He can do it either way. I could see him being a little closer early. I think he's an interesting horse in the race for sure.
But McWicket as a favorite seems like he's gonna be in a spot where if they're going fast on the front, he may have the first jump on him. Does that necessarily concern you at all?
He could get the jump on the 4, but the 4 could end up on his back too. But the price difference is enough for me to like the 4. I mean, I see McWicket being favored, especially from the 2-hole, especially off the 1-9 romp last time. And he was against the 2 in that race. I mean, really, he had no business, the way the race set up, and he just went by him like they were standing there. He's good. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the horse has won $2.5 million. So, but do you want to take 2 to 5 in every race? I don't.
But speaking of price, don't tell me again kicked home better than Heaven Rocks in that race. Albeit Heaven Rocks was off a couple of weeks.
Did you watch the race, though?
I did not.
Heaven Rocks still had a ton left.
That's the difference.
Right.
I know what you're telling me on paper, but if you go back and watch the replay, because I bet the race, that the 3 was, this horse was never catching. I mean, he never looked like a loser.
Yeah, Heaven Rocks was just too good. I agree with you, Mike. I think he comes right back and wins the final. This is a horse that Dave Miller bought when he was down in Australia with some other partners, and this horse right now is, I'd say, top 3 in North America for older pacers. And he hasn't even been here, but 3 months maybe. This horse is he's really shown to me, especially off that last race, that he is just a true monster from down under. So
I agree with that.
He's going to be something special once he gets a few more starts under his belt. We'll see how fast he can really go. But right now, I'm not going to go against him.
Well, if he's going to end up being the third choice, I can agree with you guys that could be value, especially looking if McWicket gets bet as heavily as he should going a 48-mile as he did in the elimination. So if you get like 4 or 5 to 1 on Heaven Rocks, I can understand why that's value, and I'd agree that that's value. At the same time, he was bet down so heavily in that last race. What do you guys think? He goes off lower than that?
I don't know. No, I mean, I don't know. I could see him being somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 to 1, depending on if they bet Sintra, depending on what they do with him.
Yeah.
That's the key to the race. How the 7 gets bet.
I definitely feel Don't Tell Me Again is still a contender here. At that price, a draw.
In this post, I don't know. It would really have to fall apart.
Which it can. It's not like it can't.
Who are you taking here, Ray? Because we got one more to talk about before this race goes to the Meadowlands.
Well, I was saying it depends if Heaven Rocks goes off a decent price third choice. If not, I might take a shot with Don't Tell Me Again.
No Sintra at all?
That's what's great about this race is it's so wide open. Sintra makes sense in this spot. If he can get second or third over, he has the chance to win because that's his trick.
I still think he's better on a big track, but that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Looking at the Meadowlands, though, 7-2 on Muscle Diamond. You know you do.
I thought we were going to talk about the last stake race we have.
All right, fine. We can talk about the Beal. With the Beal, we got Hambletonian eligibles here in Lawmaker, Patent Leather, Crystal Fashion, Fashion Woodchopper, potentially Manchego, Evaluate, and Six Pack. Now, I can guarantee you guys the pace of this race is going to be so screwy because Ox Fenstead has the 9-hole with the speed of the race. Six Pack's going to the front. He's going to not relinquish it one bit, and that is going to destroy this race altogether. I'm guaranteeing that right now.
Maybe.
Who do you like then?
I see 2 horses. I think the best horse in the race is Evaluate. He's going to get the best trip. He's going to be the best horse to capitalize
Better
off
than Manchego.
I don't think Manchego did not impress me last week.
The horse has never lost.
She can lose. She
can, but she's never lost.
Almost did last week.
Almost. That don't mean nothing.
It means almost compared to she doesn't. It looked quite worrisome, actually. It looked like she was going to lose in that race. And if she's going to the front, or if she's going to be racing the way she usually does, it's not going to work well for her in this race.
She can come from off it, though.
I'll tell you who I like. And
hurry up, because they're going.
The 3, Mission Accepted.
This race is over.
They're lining up the Meadowlands for the third leg of this pick 4, race number 10. They're all in motion and in line, in behind at the start. And just like that, they're off and trotting. Celebrity Express shows speed to the outside, while as does Muscle Diamond, with Miss L.A. Rose widest of all. 6 of them leaving for the top of that first turn. From the center, Gold Medal Swan, closest to the rail. Miss L.A. Rose made a break, attempting to lead from the outside. You know you do's floating out for position, wide of Attaboy Hanover, occupying the pocket to the opening quarter. Parked out, Muscle Diamond, second over in that flow, while Shady McCoy races to the inside 5th. Outside of him, Celebrity Express. They're then back to Jack Vernon. In front of to the inside, Checkmate Time. To the outside comes Sortie, and that's a long ways back to the early breaker, Miss L.A. Rose. 27-3 the opening quarter. Here comes Muscle Diamond, now the favorite at 7-5 to brush past You Know You Do and take the lead, while Celebrity Express, long shot here at 99-1 with Dwayne Miners marching up to challenge for the lead, coming to that half-mile station. Gold Medal Swan is then to the inside of Jack Vernon, matching strides with that one. Sortie's catching cover 2, third up, as Celebrity Express is pressing Muscle Diamond through a 55 half, 27-2 that second quarter, moving around the far turn. It's Muscle Diamond, a nose advantage on Celebrity Express, a gap then of a length and 3/4 to You Know You Do in the pocket, locked in by Jack Vernon, second over, slowly catching to his cover. They're then followed by Gold Medal Swan, shuffled to be 5th to the inside of Sortie, third up 6th. Then it's Attaboy Hanover from the back. Checkmate Time, Shady McCoy shuffled to be second to last. The 3/4 was Swift, 122 and 4, and McCarthy pulls the plugs. Muscle Diamond with another gear. You Know You Do, angling out to give chase. The plugs are pulled on him too, with Gold Medal Swan back third. Shade and Jack Vernon wide 4th from Attaboy Hanover. The line's coming. Muscle Diamond's holding sway over You Know You Do. It's Muscle Diamond winning by a length over You Know You Do in 1:50-1. Get with the records there. That might be a track record, maybe even a world record by Muscle Diamond. Wow.
That was huge.
Well, that's what happens when you have a 100-1 shot push you around the racetrack.
The track is
Still,
fast.
he was large. Wow.
And he was on cruise control the last 1/8 of a mile. What was going to catch him? The 3-year-old? No.
That was a gigantic race for him, though. You Know You Do.
Well, we got a perfect trip. I mean, it was fast. There's no question about that. Certainly better than he's ever been.
As a person who follows the Hambletonian Trail, races like that make for great value later on. Because you try to.
That's a big race for all involved.
But Rod, you were getting to the horse you like in the Beal.
Yeah, I like the 3, Mission Accepted. last week had some dead cover in front of him and had to move back to the inside, wiggle between horses. It wasn't ideal. And I thought the horse at the top of the stretch had no chance to win. And, come up the inside, made a very good move, and won that race.
They were falling down in front of him.
Yeah, they were, but he was not in a great spot. And
no, I mean, I agree with you.
Weakest elimination.
It was, but he wasn't in a very good spot. And
you just want to root for your buddy.
Well, I think Ryan's going to have him in a better spot. He's going to make sure he's got clear sailing tomorrow night. So
he is third time. I mean, the horse is 8 for 11. It's hard to argue.
Yeah, the horse likes to win, and he's going to be close in a race where there's not a ton of speed. So I'm gonna throw him on and hope I get him at a price.
As for me, I still feel Evaluate with the right trip is the best horse in this race, or will one day be the best horse in this race. His mile last time against Six Pack is better than it looks, even though it was off a perfect trip. But if this horse gets a perfect trip, he's shown he's good off of one, and it's as simple as that. He has a 51 mile here at Pocono, a couple starts back off a perfect trip, but he could definitely get that set up. Interesting horse, though, in Fashion Woodchopper for a potential price. He parked the entire mile in his elimination, finished third, 2 Six Pack, and Evaluate. Likely to improve off that mile. Not only that, that was the first start he stayed flat, and off a trip like that to stay flat, I'm curious what he can do in a final. He's 12 to 1 on the morning line. He's probably going to go off higher than that. If Manchego takes the money, she should. If Crystal Fashion takes the money, he should. If the elimination,
by the way, Crystal Fashion,
money, they should. So I think Fashion Woodchopper is definitely a price contender in this race. Evaluate as well is a contender. I, of course, have Evaluate in the future pool at 22 to 1, hoping that pays off beautifully come Hambo Day. That said, one more thing on the agenda. Oh, I fell down on the camera. Running Aces with their $7,500 guaranteed pick 4 starts with race number 8 on their Sunday program, Sunday, July 1st, 2018. That's the year it is currently, and that's the year it will not be next year. Kicking off this sequence, a sequence we all agreed is very competitive, is an open handicap pace, purse at $13,000. We have 8 horses going postward with a betting entry to the inside. And I'm going to send it off to Rod, who, as our resident Running Aces expert, I am amazed, always has the most expensive pick 4 ticket.
Yeah, because I want to hit it.
So do we.
It's been paying extremely well.
Yeah, and I've been beat a nose 3 straight nights. A nose is how much I've been beat.
Miracle you're still alive.
3 nights. 3 nights in a row at Running Aces. So,
about your defeats.
starting, this starts in race 8, 4 deep. The 2 Stevensville, this is for Sunday, by the way. The 2 Stevensville comes off a nice second place finish, got shuffled back in that start. If he didn't finish second, you could toss the race because he raced very, very well from that spot. He likes to be up close early. I think he's going to be with the inside post, draws a 2-hole. Use him. The 4 To the Limit, another one was just way, way too far back in that Running Aces Open. He's been as consistent as they come. He's 1, 2, 3 every single week in the Open. Good draw here. He should be in position to hit the ticket again, if not win. The 5 Fire Drake, he just won last week, got a really good trip, but when he popped out, got some air, he really exploded. I think he's a definite play here. Then the 6 Best in the Business. I like this horse 2 back when he was in that Running Aces Open. Come first over, win it. Last week, he just ducked to the back and had no chance to win the race. So I tossed that line off. This horse is competitive in this race. He should get a nice trip. I'm 4 deep. 2, 4, 5, 6.
Now, Mike, you and I are in consensus here on 3 horses. So I'm going to let your words speak for mine. We're both 1, 2, and 4 to kick off this sequence.
Yeah, the entry is interesting. Especially, I think both have a chance to win. The straight one was winning straight opens at Hawthorne, then had the 9-hole first time here, and raced well enough. Got out early. This horse won 6 times this year. The 1A, raced well. First time aces at a bottom level at even money and 52 and 4. So that horse plays well in here. The 2's obvious. Like Rod said, that was a huge race from that spot. And then the same with the 4. June 17th, if you go back and watch that replay, this horse was just coming 3 to their 1 down the middle. Should have never been 23 to 1. He's a must use. 1, 2, 4.
Second leg of this sequence, you said it beautifully, Mike. I would have those words come out of my mouth if they could. $3,000 $3,000 claiming pace. Second leg of this sequence. 1, 2, 3, 7 horses lining up, and Rod, starting with you, 3 deep.
Yeah, I'm 3 deep in the second leg here. I'll start with the 4. Western Fortune. He's obvious. There's not a lot to be said here. He's dropping in class. Last time he was in this class, he won, and he's won 2 out of his last 3 in this class. So I think you have to have him on your ticket. He's going to be the favorite, probably a pretty heavy favorite as well. The 5, CR Artistic. My comment last week was he needs the front end. He got to the front, and he crushed him. That's what he needs. That's the only way this horse wins. If he gets the front, he's tough to beat. If he doesn't get the front, he's not winning the race. Plain and simple. The 6, Lucky Ivan. First over for a long way last week. Race gamely, just couldn't beat the horse in the front, which was CR Artistic. Maybe he ducks tomorrow or Sunday night and follows Western Fortune around. That would be ideal, and if he can trip out with a second over trip here, he's got a big shot at a price as well. So 4, 5, 6.
Mike, for you, you're deviating slightly. You take the 5 and the 6, but you toss the 4, throw on the 2.
Yeah, I agree on the 5 and the 6. I think Rod said about everything in that. For those 2, the 2 is interesting just off the drop to me. I don't know about the 4 off the double drop. I'm not crazy about that one. He can win, and he'll be a short price for a 32% trainer. But the 2 was doing well at numbers of 2 and 3. Was getting checks. Ended up against Contemporary Legend last time. Those are decent horses, and that race set up for that horse tends to get more shares than wins. But I like the draw, and I don't mind the driver switch back. 2, 5, 6.
I take the obvious horses here, Western Fortune and CR Artistic. They seem to be standouts in this race. Not much else to really touch on with that because it's the 2 favorites. How intellectual can I make this, and how groundbreaking can I sound taking the 2 favorites? The answer is very, but I'm going to opt not to do it tonight. The 10th race, it's the 3rd leg of this sequence. Now there's a 5 to 6 conditioned claimers. 8 horses going poster here. I thought this was a competitive race. Rod, you're 3 deep.
Yep, 3 deep here. The 1, General Time, I think is a must use here. Inside post, left last time, cut the mile. Got stung pretty good in that first quarter as well. I think from the inside post, this horse with current form, you have to have him on your ticket. And then the 3, always a little more, has been racing well right there, kind of toggling 2nd and 3rd place finishes at this level. Not really winning, but I think the horse plays good post again and should stay pretty close off of a good first over effort last time. And then the 4, Crash and Burn. This is a nice price play. She'll be following the 3, I would think. I don't see the 3 leaving real hard in this race. Maybe he goes and tries to get the 2-hole trip, but there's a lot of other speed here. But Crash and Burn, the 4, comes from off the pace. I love that race 2 back. Was really good there. Last week, Williams Fernandez drove. Gets Rick McGee back on tomorrow night. I think this is a nice spot to upset this field, and is going to be following probably the 2 or 3 best horses throughout the whole mile. So 1, 3, 4.
Mike, you agree with the 1 and the 3. However, your long shot choice in this race is the 6.
It's a 6 first bib. Huge race last time. Go back and watch that replay. This horse was out early and made a giant move. Looked like a winner, and then just got picked off late by the perfect trip. The horse that's the 5 in this race. That was a big race. This horse, any repeat of that race, and this horse is right there. It's a 1-3-6.
I'm 1-4-5 here. Sonalta Diamond has the speed to be put into the race and perform well as she has done in previous starts. General time's really obvious. Crash and Burn is my price play, especially with the improved draw. The horse should be a bigger factor and closer to the pace this time around. Final leg, the 11th race. Now winners of 2, but not more than 4. If there's more than 4, they're kicked out of this race in particular. This time we have 9 horses to cap things off. And with you, Rod, you take 3 of the 9.
Yeah, I'm 3 deep. Start with the 1, Dapper Dan. Comes off a nice 3rd place finish. Only beat half a length in that last race. Got a good trip there. Left and sat. This is a weak field here. The inside post really draws me in because he showed speed last time. I think he's going to show early speed again, especially just based off of that line. He raced very well off of leaving early. So I'm going to use him as a big price play. The 4, Dance Hall Bouncer, 2nd time Lasix. That's a huge angle for me. Raced first over last time, cleared, and ended up hanging on to win against, albeit the field that horse was in with was cheaper, but I think it was a good race, and the horse should improve 2nd time Lasix. Decent spot, inside draw. I'm going to use as another price play. And then the 7, Muscle Soup. I like this horse. Been racing very, very well. The post obviously is a concern, but this horse has early speed. Should be put into contention. Rick McGee chose this one over another one in his barn, and with the current form, I see that horse being very close throughout the whole race here. So 1-4-7 for me.
Mike, this is interesting because you've somehow managed to pick the very 3 horses Rod did not.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but I don't know how he doesn't have the 5 in the race. I mean, the horse has won 2 in a row at this level. I know he moves outside, but he's dominated both races. The 3 and the 8 have been chasing this horse around. The 8's had outside posts and has been getting checks, keeps getting closer. And the horse is bet every week. I know he's 0 for 14, but he's in the money, 10 out of 14.
He can beat me.
The 3 actually moves inside in the race, and he looks like the only closer to me. 3-5-8.
I'm not a fan of Almar Bonbon just because of the narrow margins she's won by in her last 2 starts. I'm gonna try 2 long shots to cap off this ticket. The 4, Dance Hall Bouncer, exiting off a decent win, albeit was aided by an inside post to win there in 58-4, beating Muscle Soup, who's the other horse I use in this race. These 2 will most likely be close to the front. At least they should be if they know what's good for them. And just by being close to the front, they might be able to snag whatever semblance of victory is available in this race. So I'm going to be 4-7 in that last leg. I'm not a fan of the favorite this race. And the last race of the sequence is usually what makes the payoff very lucrative. So I'm going to try and take my chances there with my ticket, which goes as follows for 50 cents. I am 1-2-4 with 4-5 with 1-4-5 with 4-7. That's $18 for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
1-2-4 with 2-5-6 with 1-3-6 with 3-5-8. It's $40.50.
And Rod.
2-4-5-6 with 4-5-6 with 1-3-4 with 1-4-7. You're looking at my graphic right now. It's wrong. Ray messed that up. It's $54 for 50 cents.
Directly. Okay, so for those of you who want to know, we have a group chat, and Rod in the group chat posted that ticket's $54.
Yes, I did. I didn't see a number 10 in any race at Running Aces.
Did you put up the Meadowlands one?
No, it's Running Aces.
Well, that does it for North American Harness Update for Friday, June 29th. I have been Ray Catola. They're Mike Bozzi, Rod Allums Jr. You can find all of our analysis, but mostly Mike and Rod's, over on our website, NAHUPicks.com. That's NAHUPICKS.com. NAHU.com. Mike has daily race or analysis every race day from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Rod has Running Aces, and Mike also has Meadowlands. We interchange it because we all got such a great handicapping insight that we can tackle the Meadowlands. However, judging by how I've done tonight, I haven't really had much of a chance to shine with all the chalk, but that's how it goes. You can also find archives of this show over at the website as t-shirts and such if you feel so naked that you need to cover yourself in North American Harness Update apparel. It's available over there.
Like me.
But that said, next week, eliminations for the Meadowlands Pace. Upcoming date, July 22nd at Running Aces Casino and Racetrack. That's Sunday, July 22nd, is our next live show. Come out for that. Stay tuned for that and updates and announcements for that. But
big
all
ones.
Of that said, and certainly all of it has been said, I leave you with one question and one question only. What does God need with a starship